I lost my mouse.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again today as we are embarking on our 10-year plan of Materia Medica. So we are once again in our Materia Medica Pura by Samuel Hahnemann. And we are still in the remedy Asarum. We went through the introduction that is available on the YouTube channel. And now we are in the proving data. So thank you very much for joining us again and have fun.
And today we are on which remedy?
And we hope there won't be undue coughing today, but now I'm starting to worry that it's going to happen. Okay. Screen share.
Is it
Okay.
on?
So we started talking about vertigo and stupefaction. There's a lot of vertigo and stupefaction. The word stupefy means unable to think properly. So we see that thoughts are vanishing and that there's a state of confusion and that there is an inability to think properly in this remedy. So Naomi took us through what, number 10? Proving number 10. Okay, so let's start with proving number 10. When he wishes to work with his head and to reflect and the want of thinking power immediately returns and the drawing pressure in the forehead so that he must immediately leave off. Okay, so here we've got the prover is trying to work and he has to do mental work, not physical work, mental work, and thinking power, the inability to think immediately returns as soon as he starts thinking, and he gets a drawing pressure in the forehead and he has to stop working. Okay, proving number 11. As soon as he attempts to reflect a little, the head affections and the sick feeling increase perceptibly. He must quickly cease thinking, which would besides be in vain, as he is quite stupid. That stupid is the same kind of word as the stupefaction or the stupefied feeling, the inability to think. So as soon as he's starting to think, trying to remember things, he feels sick and he has to stop thinking. Next one, aching, stupefying, dull headache in the forehead, as if he had been awakened too soon from sleep. That's from a different prover. Okay, so that's like there's a dull confusion. Then there's dull headache after a half hour. Then headache like confusion in the left temple. Thereafter, under the parietal bones, lastly in the occiput. Like a moving. Proving number 15, confusion of the head, less observable when waking, more when sitting, and pressing in the eyes as with a blunt point from within outwards, especially
Walking. Sorry, Tikva. Not when waking, when walking.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry.
Less observable when walking, more when sitting, and pressing in the eyes as with a blunt point from within outwards, especially under the right eyelid. So there's pressure from inside
Into out.
into out.
Inside into out.
Yes. And then tensive, painful confusion of the head. What would tensive mean?
Tension.
Yeah. A tense, attention. Attention is like a contraction or a squeezing. Okay, 17, the head is heavy and confused, and at the same time, pressure above the sagittal suture as if he were intoxicated. And that happens after 3 hours. Where would that location be, anybody? Which suture is that?
Sagittal suture.
Mhm. Across the top?
Yeah, sagittal, which divides, like which passes through the vertex from the frontal to backwards.
Okay, great.
Exactly.
Mhm. Okay, so there's pressure. As if he were intoxicated. Remember, intoxicated means having had alcohol or other substances, but generally they mean alcohol in this day and age. So that the really
Drug.
made, unless somebody was a heroin user. Okay, a little farther. Okay, the head becomes heavy, as if there were something that shook or swayed in it, which after bending it forwards or backwards lets its weight be felt. Okay, a heavy head, as if something was moving inside, which would after bending forwards,
Or backward.
its weight is felt. So this movement of bending forward and backwards makes it heavier. Then we have pressure in the brain, chiefly anteriorly. Number 20, aching in the left side of the occiput extends towards the side of the head. Okay, so we've got the left side extending toward the side, so that must be extending forward.
Earlier, it has mentioned that it's going from forehead, parietal to occiput.
Mhm.
And here again, 20 symptoms said it's aching from left side of occiput, extending towards side of head. And see, is it this side on temples and parietal again?
Yeah, that one's on the right side. Symptom number 20 is on the right. And the symptom 21 is an out pressing pain on both sides of the head. So it's coming from inside to outside. And that modality, guys, you know, is always important. The extending and which way something goes. If it goes from inside to outside or outside inside or right to left, these can be important modalities. 20, 21, 22, 23. Pressure from without inwards over the greatest portion of the brain. So this one is the opposite. See, we have a lot of polar symptoms in this remedy. Pressure from outside going in, when other times we've seen inside going out. Brain as from above downwards, as with a stone on a spot in the forehead. Okay, pressure with as from a stone. So that would be like in a small spot. 25, violent pressure downwards in the forehead upon the eyes, which then waters. So there's watery eyes and violent pressure. Then violent means severe pressure. Hurts really bad. There's really bad pressure downwards in the forehead upon the eyes, and then the eyes water. 26, pressure combined with other sensations here and there in the brain. So when there's like here and there in the brain, we have to use the rubric head internal.
Yeah.
Then there's sensation of pressure of alternating severity from above downwards in the forehead. Okay, that's similar to one of the others. From above downwards in the forehead. Aching pain in the temples, especially the left. And there's sharp aching, headache above the root of the nose, up here, just above the top of the nose. The root of the nose.
Okay.
Then proving symptom 30, tearing, aching pain in the left temple. Remember, we've gone through the symptom of tearing, right, guys? I usually demonstrate that at least once, right? I see something is wrong. The same,
Yeah.
yeah, the same Rami Levy thing I tear every time. Tearing. That's a tearing thing. Okay, so there's tearing, aching pain in the left temple. 31, violent drawing pressure in the brain under the forehead. Increased every time he retches. Okay, this one needs to be explained. Okay, so it's very bad. That's what he means by violent. Drawing pressure in the brain under the forehead. Under the forehead, so it's head internal. And it's increased every time he retches. What does retching mean, guys?
Retching.
Mhm.
Throwing up.
Yes, yes, it is that throwing up. That's that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have Tikva, I have a question if that's okay.
Of course.
Um Twice it's not clear to me how you know up above, I think it was number 26. You said go up to 26 where it says here and there. You said that's head internal. And then here again, you said when it's in the brain under the forehead, you also said that's internal. How do you know that?
Well, because
It's
it's under the forehead, it's not going from inside the forehead in. It's inside the forehead. So
it doesn't mean it's under. See, I took it to mean it's underneath the forehead, like where the bridge of the nose is.
as in lower than.
Yeah.
Deep inside is we have to take internal. When pain is deep inside, not on the surface of like this bony part of the forehead. It comes from deep inside. Tikva, do you remember once you gave the symptom that band internally from eyes to occiput or something like that? Do you remember that symptom?
You mean like a band surrounding it?
Yeah, you gave me the symptom.
Yeah, okay, I believe you.
Yeah,
So like that would be a squeezing, a band sensation as well.
it's like you said, it is something in the eye from deep inside, like a band.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember having a right-sided headache that was like a squeezing. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, so the question that Naomi here has here is this head internal or head external? When there's sharp aching headache above the root of the nose,
No, no.
pain in the temples, especially the left, sensation of pressure from above.
Internal, if you look at all the symptoms internal, they are coming from deep side. And when we external, it's all over this part, like outside. It's uh, I don't know how to explain, but
I- Is it because it says it's the brain, so that would be deeper in?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it. I got it. Thanks.
And do remember that it is important that if we have an opportunity to define whether or not the symptom is an internal or external, that can really eliminate a lot of different things in our repertorization. And that's how we want to use repertorization. We want to be able to eliminate and then have just like a small group of remedies with which to go through the proving data and select which one matches our patient the best. Right, Naomi?
Yep.
If we want to just narrow down that category, we don't want to necessarily prescribe on the highest ranking because we want to see if there's anything characteristic. And then when we find our patient with their peculiar symptom in our proving data, we know we got something that's going to work nicely for us. Might not be the end of what the patient needs, but we know we've started on the right foot. Okay. Okay, drawing headache, a violent drawing pressure in the brain under the forehead, increased every time he retches. Yeah, so every time he's starting to do that barfing. Drawing headache as if it would draw into the temple at noon. It appears to be alleviated in the open air and by lying. So we have a drawing headache, and it draws into the temple around noon, and it is better, but it says it appears to be, that adds a slight doubt. Better in the open air and by lying down. But there's a slight doubt there.
Do you have that book now on your desk?
Yeah.
Look at who's that Pura STF staff, I think.
It's staff.
Staff.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What's the code mentioned for toxicological proving symptoms, ma'am?
Yeah, didn't we check for toxicological proving symptoms here? We found almost none in Asarum.
Yeah, in every symptoms they mentioned the prover name in
Yes.
bracket for L dot RKP, means that it's like that. What's the STF means staff. So
Yeah,
likewise, what's the code or what mentioned in bracket for toxicological which symptom is gained from toxicological proving which added to Materia Medica Pura. Kindly.
No, there are not much symptoms. So in some remedies like arsenic, and we see some of those symptoms.
Yeah, we have to go to
Much.
proving number 115 to find von Helmont in his pharmacopoeia in order to get to a not proving symptom, which will be the first one is in symptom number 115. So there's not very many in this remedy. Yeah, so this is all friends, staff, and then we have Costan, Willamette, Helmont, Murray, Ray, and Weddle as other proving. Those are the old school authorities. And you remember he lambasted this Costan, Willamette in the in the beginning. Okay, so where were we? So yeah, there's very, very few of these Siva Kumaran. Very, very
Drawing
few
headache.
of
Yes,
these.
ma'am.
We have finished.
Actually, Hanuman gained some very few symptoms from toxicological proving and added to Medica Pura. But what many people thinks that there are many symptoms Hanuman written from toxicological proving. He added to Medica Pura like that they're thinking. But that's why I is searching not only for this remedy, even it may be arsenicum or other some other remedy. I want to know what's the that bracket content which mentioned for toxicological proof. That's
Yeah, it usually comes in a different bracket notation, but I don't see it here in Asarum. And it was Herring who added a lot more toxicological information. Herring added a lot more because he has very, very long things where he's got this one, this author, this author, this author, this author, and then he also has the clinicals and the confirmations. So yeah, okay. When we come across it, it was just I made the mistake last time because I was a little bit sick and I had that really bad cough. But there aren't really very many at all in this remedy. Not usually in most of his remedies. But we did see some in arsenicum. And we'll probably see some in our, I don't know how many we'll see in our. Nobody gets poisoned by gold. Nobody does. Let's see what we find when we come to Belladonna.
okay, ma'am. It's better add in the group, ma'am.
Okay, great. Okay, where were we?
Symptom number 33.
Oh, symptom 33. Okay, when he has stooped and rises up again for some seconds, a lacerating pain in the forehead. Okay, lacerating means cutting, a cutting pain. Okay, and then stooping. Do we all know what stooping means? Can anybody demonstrate stooping?
Stoop means bending forward kind. Stoop.
Exactly, bending forward, stooping, bending forward, exactly. So here, when he has stooped, bent forward, can't really see me because my face too close. You bent forward and then rises up
Rise
again.
again.
There's a cutting
For
pain.
some second. Lacerating pain. Lacerating pain means
Cutting pain. That's what
not
a
exactly cutting. Lacerating is something like crushing
it's kind
to
of like
lacerate.
that's kind of like cutting, but roughly, like a laceration. When you're talking about wounds, it's not a clean cut. It's a
It's not a clean cut.
yeah,
It's rough,
right.
like crush one. Multiple we can see. It's not a clean single like in cutting. Lacerating is like crush type.
Okay, proving number 35, tearing, pulse-like throbbing, pain in the forehead. Okay, so what does it mean that it's pulse-like throbbing?
Pulse
See with people, and sometimes we see it ourselves.
like this.
And it can be sometimes along with the pulse, like the same as the heartbeat, right? Ever be sick and have a headache that pulsates along with the heartbeat?
If somebody has a headache from tooth or somebody has experienced tooth pain, that usually like throbbing like this. Have anyone experienced that one?
Yeah, for sure I have.
Yeah,
Like
me
Belladonna.
too. Yeah, pulsation like pain, like
Yeah, but pulsating pain.
ah,
But this one's
This is
pulse-like, so we're wondering if it's similar to the person's pulse. You know how sometimes when people have, their pulse is too hot, too high, you can sometimes even see it in their stomach. Anyway, where were we? 36?
36.
Okay, so then the 35 was tearing, pulse like throbbing pain in the forehead. 36 is in the morning, on rising from bed, throbbing pain in the forehead. Okay, the guy's getting up in the morning. And as he sits up from his bed, he has throbbing pain in the forehead. And the next one, by stooping, remember bending forwards. Okay, this one even says stooping forwards. Okay, by stooping forwards, throbbing headache is excited in the forehead. So excited means it makes it happen. Stooping makes it happen. Bending forward makes the throbbing headache happen. Okay. He feels the beat of the arteries in the occiput
Pulsation.
afterwards throughout the body. So he's feeling the beating of his pulse in the back of his head and then afterwards throughout the whole body. Next proving symptom, tension of the whole scalp so that he is painfully conscious of the hairs.
Awareness of hair.
Yep, he notices his hair because his scalp feels tight. His head, the skin of his head feels tight. He can feel his scalp. Number 40, itching, commencing with pricks under the left temple. Itching and pricking. Pricking is small little jabs. Let's say you have a pin and it's like a pin prick. Small, small, small little jabs. Okay, then we have formication under the upper eyelid, especially of the left eye. So formication under the left eyelid is like kind of like a crawling feeling. A crawling feeling under the left eyelid. Then the upper left eyelid is somewhat swollen. The eye cannot bear much reading. Okay, so the eyelid's swollen and it's hard to read. Then twitching of the lower lid of the right eye, because we have an upper lid and a lower lid, right guys? Upper lid, lower lid. So twitching right eye, lower lid. Okay, sensation of twitching in the upper left eyelid from inside out. Okay, sensation, is this 45? Sensation of twitching in the upper left eyelid from within out by fits, but only when he holds the eyelid still. But when he elevates it in order to look at anything, it goes off immediately. Okay, this is a long one. Okay, sensation of twitching in the upper eyelid from inside outwards in fits. In fits means that it happens not continually, but a little bit at a time. Just a little here and a little there, but only when he holds the eyelid still. And then he elevates it in order to look at anything. It goes off immediately. So for some reason, he needs to hold his eyelid open to look at things. I don't know. I don't know. And then the next proving symptom in the outer canthus of the right eye, a feeling of cold as from a cold breath. So it feels like a cold breath of air. Then the next one, when he uses his eyes for reading, there occurs in each of them a feeling as if it was forced asunder. Ooh, what does asunder mean? Anybody know what asunder means? Sanjay, can you look it up?
Oh, I don't know what is sunder means.
Google it.
Hmm?
You can Google it. I don't want to give a wrong definition, and I'm not exactly 100% sure.
Okay.
Isn't it like something like divided? Does asunder
Let's
mean
see.
divided?
Yes, I looked it up. It says apart, divided.
Okay, so then yeah, it does mean divided. Okay, great. So we have
Apart.
so when he's reading, there occurs in each eye a feeling as if it was forced apart. Does that mean that the eyes feel like they're forced apart? Like we're doing a
Yeah.
flounder?
He feels that eyes are forced as if they are forced apart, away from each other.
Okay, then we have pressure in the left eye. Then we have tearing pain in the interior of the right eye, synchronous with the pulse. Ah, here we go again with it matching the pulse. Remember, we were debating whether or not a certain symptom matched the pulse?
Yeah, here it is tearing pain.
Yes. And it
Earlier
does.
it was throbbing pain.
Mhm. But this one clearly says it matches the pulse.
Yeah.
Yep, synchronous with the pulse.
Yeah, it's like glonine.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, 50, sensation of dryness and drawing in the eyes. Dry burning in the eyelids and the inner canopy, especially in the left. Then painful dry feeling in the
क्या
eye.
कर
Then
लिया
warming
क्या बात कर रहे हैं
and light
दोनों
pressure.
उसका सोच रहे चल रहे हैं अरे बाप रे फिर इसकी बेनती हूँ
Yeah,
छोड़ दिया उसको
whoever's talking on their phone, can you please mute
दोनों साथ
yourself?
रहेगा बाप रे
I don't know how to mute anybody.
तो असर को तो गुस्सा आ गया रहेगा
Click participant and mute all.
Yeah, I know. We go through this and then
तो असर क्या हुआ
forget from each time.
हाँ?
There
अपने
we
काम कर रहे दोनों तो फिर छोड़ दिया
anybody who needs to talk can unmute themselves so that we don't have to hear that phone conversation. Okay. Hi, Shala. Okay, so now we're having dryness and drying in the eyes. dry burning in the eyelids and the inner canthus, especially of the left eye. Then a painful dry feeling in the interior of the eye. Then a warm feeling and slight pressure in the eyes. They have lost much of their brightness and look duller. There we have an altered appearance of the eyes. That would be something that is an objective phenomena. Remember, we have subjective phenomena and objective phenomena. Objective phenomena is something that we as the practitioner can notice in the patient. See, if a person says that they have a right-sided throbbing headache, we can't see it. But if the eyes look dull, we notice it. So that is objective phenomena for us. Okay, then we have obscuration of the eyes. I wonder what they mean exactly by that. Because to obscure something is to hide it from view. Mysterious. 55, the whole of the right outer ear is hot to the touch, frequently recurring during the whole medicinal disease. So during the whole proving, this prover had a reoccurring heat that was perceptible to touch of the right outer ear. And sensation of warmth at the orifice of the right meatus auditorius and a feeling as if the thin skin were over it. That's that kind of like flap thing that's sometimes mentioned in the repertoire. Dull roaring in the left ear, like a distant wind. In the right, clear singing. Interesting. A roaring in the left ear and a clear singing sound in the right. In the ear externally, as well as internally, a pinching feeling like an earache. Pinching, right? Pinch, pinch. In the ear externally, okay. Aching behind and below the left ear. Number 60, on bending the head towards the left, a pain as if from overexertion, a fasciculus of muscular fibers was out of its place, which spreads over the left temple and behind the ear towards the left shoulder, and in unison with the pulse increases as that rises and diminishes as it falls. Okay, Sanjay, how about you do that one? That let me have all the fun. You're gonna have to unmute yourself.
I can't imagine this symptom.
No? Okay, so we're
No.
bending the heads toward the left. Okay, we're looking towards the left. And there's a pain as if from overexertion. But what is this? A fasciculus of muscular fibers was out of its place.
Fasciculus muscular fibers, fasciculus of muscular fibers means a bunch of muscular fibers like that. You can
Bunch of muscular fibers out of place, which spreads over the
some of the fibers, which actually he's saying some of the fibers are out of place, which spread over left temple, means this left side bending towards left, and he is talking about muscular fiber of left sides are seems out of place, and left side left temple and behind ear. He's
Mhm.
talking about this part, I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
And behind the ear toward the
and
shoulder. And it happens in the
behind ear towards the left shoulder, like this.
yeah. And
And what is unison?
at the same time, in unison, working together at the same time in unison.
A
In
pulse increase as that rises and diminish as it falls.
right. So as there's a pulse beat, the heart beats. As the heart beats,
Mhm.
the pain gets worse. And as the heart, retracts, it gets better. So this is very, very, very intricate. I mean, I just can't even imagine somebody, sitting there at the desk saying, and when they turn their head, it like this,
I
like
can lot of this neck part and this lot of issue in these remedies like this. So there is a, we can say it has tensive pain, it has tearing, throbbing, and all over this occiput and upper neck region. And he's talking, he also said to this shoulder blade, left side, temples, and back of ear. All this muscular pain related to neck.
yeah, but then the
We
very
must,
here of the unison and unison with
yeah,
the increases as it rises and diminishes as it falls. So that means that there's a pulsating that's getting better and worse, better and worse, better and worse as the heart beats. And that is a very interesting characteristic. Then we have a bowl, continued aggressive and tensive pain at the orifice of the meatus auditorius. So there's a continued
this canal, opening of this ear.
and that's in bold. Go to the left ear.
You
It
have
says
to mute again.
everybody's muted except for me. Continued pressive intensive pain at the orifice of the meatus auditorius. In the left ear, sensation observed outwardly and inwardly as if the cartilage of the ear contracted. So there's internal and external as if it's contracted in the left ear. Diminished hearing of the left ear as if it were closed by the hand, as if the cartilages went closer together, or as if cotton wool plugged the ears. Okay, so he's saying that it sounds like it's like this, or if it were closed by the hand. I don't know exactly what he means by that. Or as if the cartilage was closer together, or as if there was cotton, like a cotton ball in the ear. 64. He feels as if the skin were stretched over the right meatus auditorius. Okay, so
Tensive.
65, a sensation in the meatus, external meatus, as if the orifice in front of the membrana tympani were pasted up. Okay, so the ear feels stopped up. So before the eardrum, it feels like there's something stuffed in the ear. 66, in front of both ears, he feels that they're stopped. Okay, so we're really clearly seeing that the ears seem stopped up in this remedy. He hears worse in the right than in the left ear. He feels as if a membrane were before the orifice of the meatus auditorius with sensation as if it was compressed. Yeah, there's, in the rubrics, there's that thing about, as if there's a leaf, a valve, something that opens and closes. I would say that this remedy must be in there. As if a membrane were stretched over the right, intensive pressure therein almost continuously for 7 days, but always worse during cold. 70. The feeling of tension and pressure on the right meatus auditorius scarcely ever remits, and when it does, it extends to the right lower jaw, and when it is severe, a large quantity of apparently cold saliva flows from the right side of the mouth. Hey, Sanjay, why don't you go ahead and take that one for us? Number 70.
The feeling of tension and pressure on the right meatus auditorius scarcely ever remits, and when it does, it extends to a right lower jaw.
Yeah, but what does
And when it is
what is remit?
remit,
Mhm.
To let up.
Yeah, stop. It doesn't stop. It scarcely ever stops. So this feeling of tension and pressure scarcely ever stops. But when it does stop, the pain extends to the right lower jaw. And when it is severe, a large quantity of apparently cold saliva flows from the right side of the mouth. That's a weird one, huh, guys?
I have a question.
Yeah.
When it says we've seen like 3 times in a couple of the last symptoms, when it says like, for example, here, after half an hour, does that mean something? It appears after half an hour. Is it continuous? Does it stop? Or it's
no,
just, he's just
it,
noting,
it says that it appears half an hour after taking the remedy.
and then we don't
Then
know.
we don't know.
Well,
Okay.
this one says that the feeling scarcely ever remits. So this must be a very long lasting one. I would say that in this instance of proving symptom 70, I would say that since it scarcely ever remits, starting after a half an hour, that means that it continues. But when it does remit, there's the saliva that flows from the right side of the mouth. And when it says after a half an hour, after 4 hours, after 5 days, after 20 days, the longer it's been after taking the medicine, the more reliable the symptom is. At least that's what Boninghausen says.
Oh, no, I wanted to know what that was based on. Okay,
No,
so the
but-
longer from the time that you take the remedy, the more reliable it is. That's what you're saying? Mhm,
That's what Boninghausen says about that.
mhm. Okay, thanks.
Times are given. But if somebody were to come to us and say that they have tension and pressure from the right, scarcely ever remits, and when it does, it extends to the right lower jaw with cold saliva that runs from the side of the mouth, I think we could pretty much give Asarum here, because that is so strange, rare, and peculiar. That is a really characteristic symptom. Interesting one too. Okay, 71. Burning, shooting pain on the left cheek. So that's a little bit more general. You're going to have people that have a burning, shooting pain in the left cheek. That's not going to be too unusual. feeling of warmth in the left cheek after 4 hours, feeling of warmth in the cheeks after 10 hours. On washing the face with cold water, the vertigo, headache, burning on the tongue and in the mouth, contraction of the left cervical muscles, and the weakness of the knees stopped, but after drying the face, they returned. So another long, fun one, huh? Okay, he's washing his face. Steph's washing his face with cold water. He gets vertigo, headache, burning on the tongue
Burning on the tongue.
and in the mouth in general, contraction of the left cervical muscles, weakness of the knees, and it stopped. But after drying the face, they return. So it like comes and goes, but after he dries his face with the towel, it comes back. Interesting, huh?
I just wanted to comment that most patients aren't going to be able to tell you, for example, in number 70, that they had pressure on the right meatus auditorius, or they're not going to tell you here that they had a contraction of the left cervical muscles.
Wow.
These sounds like these people really knew anatomy, and your patient isn't going to describe their symptoms like this.
Exactly. But they can say that when washing their face, they get like this dizziness with pain in their head and within the neck, pain in the neck, pain in the head while washing their face. They might say something like that it's hard to wash their face. And then you have to say, explain how it's hard to wash your face. What happens, right? You have to go into those details. What happens that makes it difficult to wash the face? Why does it hurt to wash the face? How does it hurt to wash the face? And does anything specific happen while washing the face? You know, being a homeopath is very much playing detective. Explain how it
And
happens.
the main part in these symptoms, we see that all concomitants, the relations of concomitant symptoms. He's talking about washing face with cold water, vertigo, and then burning on the tongue
Mhm.
with contraction of the left cervical muscle and weakness in the knee. Means there is no relation in knee, cervical muscle, tongue. So these concomitants are really important. Patient may not say exactly same word, but some other part means others he can communicate the symptom with such concomitant linked with that washing face, vertigo, headache, burning tongue, cervical muscle, and weakness of knee. And then after drying up, he says it returns again.
Yeah, so even if we had a patient say that when they wash their face, that they get like a numbness in the mouth,
Mhm. Yeah.
it can be, we can use partial parts of these.
Yeah. You can use a part. Sometimes patient may say washing hair face with cold water, he may have headache, and he may say and there is a weakness in my knees or heaviness or anything related to knee, vertigo, knee, no relation, but this concomitant helps
Mm-hmm.
to choose these remedies, right?
Yep. Yep, concomitants. And 75, fine shooting in the right cheek. Fine means that it's small. It's a small sensation as opposed to the obtuse. They use obtuse and they use fine in Materia Medica Pura. Okay, so there's a shooting pain in the right cheek. On the left cheek, contractive pain accompanied by gentle but sharp blows. Withdrawing pain in the third molar tooth. So here we have the third molar mentioned on the left side.
Wisdom tooth.
Is it third?
Third
No.
molar is wisdom tooth.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Anybody else got their hand in their mouth, feeling if the third one's their wisdom tooth?
Yeah, third molar is usually wisdom tooth. Last one, which usually comes very late in.
But I have this molar, and then this molar, and then this molar, and then behind that, no, I don't think it's the wisdom tooth. I have more molars than that.
You are you are a special one.
I don't think so. I have this molar, this molar, 1, 2, 3, 4 molars, and my wisdom teeth are gone. My wisdom teeth are gone. Okay, well,
Mhm.
okay, Naomi lost her sound. Oh, she got a phone call and now she can't hear us anymore. Okay, anyway, let's continue. Who wants to read for a few more? Give me a break from reading, guys.
Oh, Akshita,
Yes, sir.
can you
Which
read?
one should I read? Yeah. Which one should I read?
I
Uh,
think produces in the nose, a
yeah.
discharge of blood
Produces in the nose.
from there.
Produces in the nose a discharge of bloody mucus.
And this symptom, you see, this is a reference. It's not
Yeah.
from
What is it?
prover.
Right, this is a from Murray.
Yeah.
This is no approver. This is old school authority.
Okay.
Please
Then
continue.
continue.
Dryness. Yeah. Dryness of the inside of the lower lip.
Okay, continue.
A
When you
feeling of
find some
coldness.
difficult, we will discuss that.
Yeah. A feeling of coldness like a cold breath in the upper incisors. A feeling of coldness like a cold breath in the upper incisors.
Scissors. Okay.
Yeah. Then 80th, sensation in the left row of the teeth as if they were hollow.
Left
Sensation
row,
in the left row of teeth as if they were hollow.
hollow. Left row, he has not mentioned upper or lower.
Mention upper or lower, yeah. Cutting pain with cramp
You
at
can
the maxillary
hear
joint. You
in this
can't hear
part.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just
Yeah.
trying to understand the symptom. Left row of
Okay.
teeth means he has
Yeah.
not mentioned upper or lower, but when the patient come, then upper or lower you can consider for either.
Okay. Yeah. Then cutting pain with cramp at the maxillary joint. Again, here it is not mentioned which side. Cutting pain with cramp at the maxillary joint.
Yeah.
Then much cool saliva collects in the mouth. Much
This
cool
symptom
saliva
already,
collects in the mouth.
this symptom was already had earlier. Tikwa.
Okay.
That cold saliva in the mouth.
Ah.
So cold saliva belongs to Asarum.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Frequent sensation of contraction in the interior of the mouth, causing flow of watery saliva.
Okay. And this
Fre-
quarter saliva
Yeah.
is cold.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Then the saliva in the mouth seems to be quite viscid. It is thick. The saliva in the mouth seems to be quite viscid.
After
Then,
24 hours.
okay, after 24 hours.
Hmm.
The saliva ejected was burning hot in the mouth after half an hour.
Now polar. Or it is different. Because
Yeah, it's a polar symptom. This one has hot saliva when he spits. And what he means by ejected is he spits and it's hot saliva. When otherwise we've had cold saliva.
Tongue
okay.
furred white. There is tongue
Coating.
furred white coating on the tongue. Yeah. A smarting sensation on the tongue and gums. Smarting means
Then it hurts.
Smart.
It hurts. Painful.
can you
Smarting.
repeat? Yeah,
Painful.
painful. Okay. Sensation of burning transversely across the midline of the tongue. Then burning and dryness in the whole of the mouth
Oh,
after
mouth.
20 minutes. Yeah. First it is across the midline of the tongue and then burning and dryness in the whole of the mouth.
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah. Then mucus in the mouth with sweetish flat taste. Mucus in the mouth with sweetish flat taste.
Sweetish flat taste means because
It means that the saliva, the inside the mouth, you know how there's always something that's like, the flavor doesn't taste bitter in the mouth, tastes sweet in the mouth. And flat means that it's just kind of bland.
Okay.
It's bland, sweetish taste in the mouth as opposed to a sour.
Okay. Taste in the mouth as if the stomach were deranged. So whenever like there is some stomach upset, some similar kind of taste is felt in the mouth. Tobacco smoking is not relished. They don't
what is the
enjoy
symptom?
tobacco smoke. Tobacco
Mhm.
smoking is not relished.
And he doesn't like it like he usually does.
Yeah, he don't like.
Uh-huh.
But if the
Tobacco when
person
smoked,
is not smoking,
This would be when somebody
no,
usually.
no, there is a next line which mentions that tobacco when smoked tastes bitter. Maybe that is the reason he's not enjoying.
mhm, yeah,
Then bread tastes bitter. The dry bread eaten tastes bitter in the evening. Dryness of the throat with shooting, scraping in the throat. Dryness of the throat with shooting, scraping in the throat. Now that is a different symptom.
mm,
Yeah. In the throat, such viscid mucus that he could not bring it up nor hawk it out for 8 days. Thick mucus in the throat, he cannot bring it out or he cannot hawk it out.
for 8 days.
Yeah. Swallowing is difficult as from swelling of the cervical glands.
That's
And
an,
what are these gland?
yeah, in the back of the neck would be the cervical glands, and that it
These are lymph nodes.
hurts to
Lymph
swallow
nodes, yeah.
because,
These are lymph nodes.
yeah, the lymph nodes, and
Yeah.
the pain swallowing because of swelling in the back of the neck, the lymph nodes. That's an interesting one.
I guess it is near the upper part of the sternocleidomastoid muscle. Those are cervical lymph nodes, right?
These are like this. Like this. Means
Backside.
along with
Okay.
sternocleidomastoid in the posterior triangle.
Yeah. Yeah. Then hiccup after 1.5 hours. 100 symptom is hunger in the morning.
Okay.
Frequent eructation.
Mhm.
Frequent empty eructations. What does this mean? Empty eructation means?
That no food or anything comes up with it.
No food or no water or no nothing is just
Sit there, plain air.
Okay, got it. Yeah, got it. When walking in the open air, rising up of as of air out of the stomach, and when it came out to the mouth, he must yawn a couple of times. Then for an hour, empty eructation and copious discharge of flatus.
Okay, that was
So
really
when
an
he is,
oh, oh this is funny.
uh-huh.
yeah,
So he started walking and he feels air coming up from the stomach. And
yeah,
when the air comes to his mouth, he feels he has to yawn, right? Yawning, right? And then he yawns a couple of
The
times.
same
And
time.
then for an hour, he has burping and farting.
yeah.
To be a prover, right? What fun.
Incomplete eructation up to the upper part of the chest. So it doesn't come out of from the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Incomplete eructation up to the upper part of the chest. Then there is shivering from nausea. Nausea after 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
General discomfort and nausea. Nausea
Okay.
and loathing with shuddering immediately.
Loathing
Shuddering means, I
means
think, again, there is loathing,
loathing.
Shuddering, shivering.
Yeah,
shivering, yeah,
already heard this.
Shuddering. And loathing
yeah.
means disgust.
Sadness,
Lo-
is it sadness?
no, no.
Loathing is like a
Uh,
disgust. They
So
can't,
like
Disgust,
loathing of
okay.
life.
like, okay,
Yeah,
I've got a glass of
Like,
water. I can't bear to drink water.
yeah.
I couldn't even look at
It
the
is a
water.
feeling,
Of
it is a
disgust.
feeling
aversion.
of intense dislike or disgust or hatred.
Exactly.
Intense dislike or disgust or hatred.
Mhm. Exactly.
1 second.
And you remember how in the very beginning of the proving data, Hahnemann went on and rant, saying how the only mentions of Asarum have been that it can cause vomiting. And he's like, they clearly didn't prove it scientifically, because we see that there's a lot of different symptoms that are not abdominal symptoms. There's a lot of headaches and other symptoms as well. It does a whole lot more than just cause vomiting. And we have quite a few more pages to go. A lot of headache. And a lot of that sensorium, we go under the heading of sensorium in our schema of that stupefying of that dullness, of that inability to recollect, inability to think, a confusion of the mind, but stupefied and able to think properly with sometimes with vertigo. Okay. Where were we?
Constant nausea and sickness in the fauces. Fauces is in the throat region, right?
Mm-hmm. The back of the nose, the throat, near the tonsils.
Yeah, exactly. Nausea with aching in the forehead and great flow of water into the mouth. Nausea with aching in the forehead and great flow of water into the mouth.
So there's salivation with the
Salivation.
Salivation.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which is altogether peculiar to have salivation with nausea. That's pretty common. A lot of people have that. So that would belong to more remedies than
Empty retching with flow of water into the mouth. After half an hour, 1.5 hours.
Retching.
yeah, retching is, when you're gonna vomit, you go start making that
Vomiting. Vomiting.
Yeah.
vomiting. It's not actually
Sensation.
vomiting. It's not the sensation. It's the action that you make to make the vomiting
To
happen.
vomit.
Yeah, but it's not actually vomiting, it's retching. Like, let's say that you're sick to your stomach and you've already vomited everything that's there, but you're still retching. You're still having that, right? But nothing's coming out. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's still that, but there's nothing still coming out. Because when it says retching, it just only means that, and vomiting is when it's,
Actually coming out.
stuff comes out, right?
Yeah.
The stuff comes out when you're vomiting. When you're retching, there's nothing coming out. That's the difference between the retching and the vomiting. The retching is just making that noise and having that muscular contraction that makes it happen. That all those muscles, you've been there. You've been there. You know what this means. But it's without the food coming out. It's without the water coming out. It's without the stomach contents emptying. It's just that, bleh, but without stuff coming out. Okay.
Oh, 1 second. The retching is always more violent. The oftener it comes, the eyes becomes filled with water.
Wow.
So retching is violent and with filling of the eyes.
Lacrimation.
Yeah. When retching, all the symptoms are increased except the stupidity of the head, which decreases.
That's interesting. So that
Yeah.
That
Um,
bold.
confusion is better.
It's like Naxomica, better by vomiting. It's like Asarum, better by retching. Stupidity.
It is not better by retching. His confusion or stupidity of mind is better when retching is more.
Which decreases. Nah?
No, when retching, all the symptoms are increased except stupidity of the head, which decreases.
Yeah.
Vomiting an hour after first retching with great straining of the stomach in 5 or 6 paroxysms, each time as if the head would burst in the region of the ears. Only a little greenish, slightly sour gastric juice is ejected after 1.5 hours.
Sounds terrible.
Vomiting with great anxiety.
And that's from J.B. von Helmont. Okay, that's not a proving symptom. That is a other symptom.
Okay.
And
Vomiting, diarrhea, death.
is also not a proving symptom.
Again, it
Okay.
is a reference.
Okay. Yeah. Vomiting with great effort and violent pressure in the stomach. The effort to vomit takes away his breath, so as almost to suffocate him, and yet nothing but sourish water is ejected after 2.5 hours.
And he's working so hard and almost nothing's coming up.
Yeah. And he loses his breath, he feels suffocated. Vomiting with sensation of straining of the stomach and violent compression in the epigastrium and a similar feeling in the head after 2.5 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. There always remains some nausea in the stomach with the disinclination to work, sensation of want of thinking power and laziness.
Want
So
of
along with
thinking power.
nausea, yeah,
What is want of thinking power? Lack of thinking power.
He's stupefied.
yeah,
Absent-minded.
exactly.
It's lacking of thinking power.
Which we saw a lot earlier on with that stupefied and
Yeah, beginning first symptom we studied. Then after the vomiting, alleviation of the head symptoms. So once he better with vomiting, head symptoms increases.
No, the head symptoms are better after vomiting. Alleviate means to make it better.
Alleviation means what? Better? Okay, okay, fine, fine. Fullness in the
So,
stomach with hunger. Then it's like a migraine symptom, I feel.
Yeah,
Head
migraine.
symptom. Yeah, head symptoms better with vomiting.
Yeah.
Fullness in the stomach with hunger.
This is typical.
Pinching in, yeah,
contradictory symptoms
pinch, yeah, contradictory.
like ignatia.
Pinching in the stomach after 1.5 hours. Slight pinching in the stomach or just over it. In the stomach, a pressure as with the blunt point. Troublesome pressure on the scorbiculus cordis, which prevents him feeling whether he is hungry. No,
What
I
is
don't know.
cordis? Tikwa?
It's
Scorbiculus.
it's like the lower part of the sternum.
That angle,
Yeah.
xiphoid process, below xiphoid process, into epigastrium. That angle
Scor-
of rib. Okay, continue.
Yeah, exactly. The slight depression in the midline just inferior to the xiphoid process of the sternum.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. 1 second, I'll get back. Yeah.
This is an old word, and lot of time we see in this Materia Medica Pura. In lot of
Okay.
remedy.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we see it a lot.
Okay. A troublesome pressure on the scorbiculus cordis, which prevents him feeling whether he is hungry or not all day. Hard pressure on the region of the stomach and scorbiculus cordis for 2 successive days. So in the same region, there is hard pressure. Pressure on the gastric region on inspiring. Yes, sir. It is done till the last line.
1 minute.
Oh.
Feeling of constriction in the region of diaphragm. From time to time, sharp cutting round about the epigastrium, which is always relieved by the discharge of some flatulence.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting, yeah, cutting in the epigastrium after 2 hours. Horrible colic and vomiting.
And you
Fullness
see-
in the abdomen.
and
Yeah,
you see that's not done by a prover, that's from a document.
okay,
Again, referral.
Yep, it's a reference, not a
okay, okay.
Which one?
Horrible.
Horrible.
131.
Horrible colic and vomiting.
That comes from?
Coste and Wilme,
Uh,
the horrible colic and vomiting. Not a-
okay. That comes from.
It comes from an essay from those two guys, that Coste and Wilme.
Oh. But it's not a toxicological symptom. Huh?
It's from an essay. Remember last time we talked about Coste and William writing a famous essay, and Hahnemann from Nancy. It was published in Nancy, France in 1778. And it's the Essais sur Voces Plantes Indigenes. And it says that it pretends to give us a proving of Asarum, but that they did not make any proper trial. And that the only thing that could be recommended of it is that it doesn't kill people when it makes them vomit, usually. And so Hahnemann spends like 5 paragraphs telling us about how horrible this essay is. And that is from the essay that Hahnemann rants about. That's why I said that we can sometimes in the introductions, we can just kind of like refer to these as the rants by Hahnemann because he just like, he gets really upset about how medicine has been approached in the past or the present or possibly in the future. Oh, and then we have that contradictory symptom again with fullness in the abdomen, but at the same time, he has appetite and hunger. He wants to eat.
Yeah. How to read that? Quamishness in the abdomen
Yeah.
with
well,
repeated
Okay.
with repeated aching pain along the coronal suture.
Mhm. So there's aching in the head along with nausea in the abdomen.
A painless and gentle working about in the abdomen. Explosion of flatulence in the abdomen which is not discharged. So only in the abdomen it is felt, I think. Pressure in the abdomen. Feeling of aching and painful pressing on the left side of the abdomen observed when moving. Single painful sensation in the left side of the abdomen, obliquely below the navel. Before the stool, cutting in the abdomen and sharp stitches in the rectum from above downwards in the morning. He has hurried urging to stool half an hour after the first stool, with cutting in the abdomen and rectum before and during the looser stool. Stool in hard small pieces. The usual morning stool was delayed for some hours, and then it was scanty, yellow like an egg, slimy, or of slender form. Then there is diarrhea. Again from the document. Then diarrheic, viscid, slimy, as it were resinous stool. Ascarides pass in shaggy masses of mucus for 6 days.
Okay, so there's worms.
Yeah, it is worms.
Mhm.
Stool whitish gray and ash colored with bloody mucus on the top. So that indicates obstructive jaundice. Is it? Stool whitish gray and ash colored.
Yeah, that's the,
Yeah.
what's it called? What,
Obstructive jaundice.
child?
Along with bloody mucus on the top.
Yeah. Pressure on the bladder during and after urinating. Constant urging to urinate. Or drawing in the urethra. A wild acute pain in the left groin, which darted quickly through the urethra into the glans penis, and there is a smarting, contractive, violent internal pain remained for a long time. Premature birth, expulsion of the fetus.
Yeah, there's another reference. This did not have
Okay.
that there was that this caused a miscarriage.
Yeah. Stuffed coryza, the left nostril is stopped up. Violent sneezing. A tickling runs through the nose as from the positive galvanic pole, which after ineffectual urging causes sneezing and a flow of clear fluid.
Now here we're talking about galvanizing again.
Yeah,
If we
what is
look
it?
at the last, one of the last aphorisms in the Organon has galvanism, and that is using an electrical current in order to stimulate muscular contractions.
Okay. Sensation as if the breath and saliva were hot, but without dry feeling in the mouth.
Ma'am, there is a footnote 1 and 2. What it is?
Yeah, okay, so this is a general statement from footnote 1, which was the horrible colic and
So
vomiting,
kindly go the upside, sir.
right? So we have, when we had the horrible colic and vomiting from Coste and Willamette, from that whatever, Semmel, blah, blah, volume 2. It was that notation with the horrible colic and vomiting that didn't happen to Pruber. And then when we had the premature birth, expulsion of the fetus from Ray, the history of universal plants, something or other, this represents that it's an abortifacient, that you could use Asarum to help somebody abort. Not in potency, in material quantities, that it can cause an abortion. In herbology and things like that, there's the amenagogues and the abortifacients and things like that. They help people get rid of unwanted pregnancies.
1 minute.
Nowadays, we
Something
send
happened.
the gynecologist if they need to get rid of a dangerous or truly unwanted pregnancy. We just send somebody to the gynecologist. But in the olden days, people would have various herbs and things to do.
Yeah.
Knitting needles and all that. All kinds of scary things. It's a little safer these days. But desperate women have always resorted to desperate measures if necessary.
Repeated coughing on account of mucus in the chest, which first rises up into the throat and causes difficulty in breath, and at length cough with expectoration. Inspiration causes an irritation in the throat, which excites cough. Very short breath at night. Angry and cross before the cough.
And here
Is
we have
irritable.
parentheses. Here we have parentheses around angry and cross before the cough. That means that it is not a decidedly clear symptom. That there's some question about whether or not that is a true symptom.
Okay. Great expectoration of mucus by hawking and coughing. At the commencement of the cough, the respiration is whistling.
And that's again in parentheses, meaning that it's a questionable. We're not 100% sure about that in the proving.
Okay. Short breath, the throat is constricted and this causes hawking cough. Obtuse pitch, impeding respiration, quite low down, as if in the left lung at every inspiration. He can only breathe short and by jerks on account of stitches and constriction in the larynx. Short coughing relieved by constriction for a little time. Obtuse stitch on the left near the scorbiculus cordi after 9 hours.
Remember how we had fine stitching previously, and now we're having obtuse stitching.
Obtuse stitch, yeah.
Fine stitching means that it's very small, like in size, and obtuse means it's larger. But the stitching movement is like stitching, like sewing.
Okay. In the right lobe of the lung, stitches when inspiring after 12 hours. Frequent obtuse stitches in both lungs during inspiration for 8 days. Stitches in the chest during inspiration for 24 hours. When he takes a rather deep breath, immediately obtuse stitches in both lungs. Sensation of pressure on the whole of the chest. In the region of the last ribs, a sharp pressure as if with the back of a knife. In the right side of the chest, a severe forcible pressing at regular intervals after 1.5 hours. Visible twitching and palpitation in the muscles of the region of the clavicle. Stretching pain in the left side after 45 minutes, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sensation.
Quarters of an hour. Yeah. 45 minutes.
Before.
Yeah. Sensation as if the left lung were constricted or cut into a string or wire. Pain round about in both lungs as if they were constricted by a sharp wire.
Okay.
In the right side of the chest, a burning sensation more externally than internally. Burning sensation in the chest, right side of the chest.
Hmm.
Burning pain with shooting in the sacrum while sitting. From one crista ilii to the other over the spine, pain as if the flesh of the muscles were rent outwards in tearing jerks when walking. What does this mean? From one crista ilii, iliac crest,
Yeah. So
to the
from like,
other
Yes.
over the spine,
mhm.
pain as if the flesh of the muscle were rent outwards
Uh-huh.
in tearing jerks when walking.
Yeah. So you've got a tearing pain from side to side, from like the iliac, the sacroiliac joint kind of area, over the spine from one side to the other, as if the muscles were torn, and there's like tearing and jerking when walking.
Okay.
Right, there's a whole lot more here than just making people vomit, isn't there?
Paralytic pain as if bruised in the back as long as he remains erect, stands or sits, but does not lie.
That means it's better when lying down.
Yeah. Bruised pain in the back. Obtuse stitches under the scapulae. In the inner border of the right scapula, a pain as from a knock or blow, especially felt on touching the scapula or drawing it inwards after
Something miss. What is symptom number?
182. This is 182.
yeah, this one. At the inner border of the right scapula, a pain as from a knock or blow, especially felt on touching the scapula or drawing it inwards after 25 hours. Pain in the nape on the left side as if by overexertion, a bundle of muscular fibers had got out of their place. The pain then spreads over the head and shoulders after 6 hours. pain in the nape on the left side as if by overexertion. A bundle of muscular fibers had got out of their place. The pain then spreads over the head and the shoulders, that is on the left side, after 6
I
hours.
read little while ago. We have said that when turning head to a left side, there is a muscular fiber which
Yeah.
we have seen little while ago.
Yeah, but that was accompanied with salivation. This is not.
Okay. Paralytic pain in one of the muscles of the nape, as if it were bruised on moving the neck. On the muscles of the nape, a sensation as from a too tight neck cloth, and as if a blunt knife were pressed on it.
Okay, what's a neck cloth?
Collar?
Yeah, remember how back in the olden days, they didn't wear normal ties, but they wore like a big thing and they'd fold it?
Muffler,
Okay.
Not like, well, kind of like a muffler, but it was part of a gentleman's outfit. It wasn't a tie like people wear modern, but it was big and thick. And they would like kind of tie it and fold it and tuck it into the front of their jacket. So that's the neck cloth.
Okay.
We have like one, two, three and a half more pages. Do we want to finish these 3.5 more pages or do we want to do that next week?
yeah.
I guess we'll do next week.
Okay, she can complete up to 190.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Feeling of weight on the neck and sensation as if the muscles were compressed by bandages.
Earlier we see in head lot of symptoms related to this neck part, and now we see this how this neck muscles are related to this head symptoms.
Yeah.
And again we see retching, vomiting, how this strains neck and this head issue,
Yeah.
stretches everything.
Okay. Spasmodic contraction of the left cervical muscles with perceptible bending of the head to that side.
So it's making the head bend.
Left,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Towards the left.
same symptom.
Yeah. Violent tearing stitches in both shoulders during motion and rest.
That's interesting because it comes during motion and rest. Lots of times when it's rest, it's better. But this happens during motion and rest. That makes it interesting.
In the axilla, as if in the axillary glands, a rapidly occurring obtuse pain.
Okay, so we have an armpit pain, right?
Yeah. A pressure in the left axilla as if a rough piece of wood.
No. Just we will continue from 90.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
91.
fine. 190. Okay, sir.
Ah,
Okay, good job reading. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
you can
Thank
turn
you.
on now before closing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we lost Nomi. Okay, and Siva
I
Kumran
think
Yes, ma'am.
gives us the information about teeth. Most adults have 32 teeth. which is 12 more teeth than children. Among these 32 teeth are 8 incisors, 4 canines, 8 premolars, and 12 molars, including 4 wisdom teeth. He was answering the question we had with the
Third
Yeah.
molar.
And when it's called 12 molars, that means 3 on each side. And right. But usually the third molar, those who have a small mouth, usually it is bend,
I have like that one.
cross one,
Yeah.
third molar. Okay.
Okay. All right. Naomi left us at 6:45. All right. So we stuck it through. Let's clap. We're doing such a good job here going through all this proven data. Good job,
And
guys.
what we see in this remedy, it is very nice remedy for migraine, vomiting, headache, and neck pain.
Yeah. Nausea.
Mhm.
Have you
Yeah.
heard that someone is having uh, that acidic attack every week or month, and lot of vomiting is there, then headache, and a lot of retching is also there. This remedy definitely helps.
Okay.
And there's almost no mental symptoms at the end of the
Have
remedy.
you seen the
Very, very
remedy?
nice.
Someone is having much acid in the stomach, huh? And instead of getting headache, head pain over frontal region, they get pain on this occiput, upper part of the neck. Again, this remedy is there.
Okay.
Have you seen such patient with acidic, instead of frontal headache, they get pain along with occiput, upper part of the neck, then back of ear, then temples, like this. Very rare. Usually all people get headache on the
Yeah,
frontal
forehead.
part. And I have 2 patients like this. And after now, I have prescribed iris again. But now I will see, look at this remedy also.
Do you have a bottle of Asarum in your clinic?
Yeah, I have remedy, never use the remedy.
Looks like you maybe want to try it.
I have a lot of remedies in this rack. And lot of rare remedies also. Old one.
I see that there's quite a bit of utility for using Asarum.
Hmm?
Underused, underused.
Yeah, underused.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
It's been a really long meeting. Thank you, everybody who has stuck through it and attended and joined us today.
And again, special thanks to Sandhya Sahu and Akshata again. And thank you for reading this.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anything else you want to
Reading
announce
and
coming up?
trying to understand symptom actually helps. You go through very minute detail of the symptoms of the remedy.
Yeah, I think it's so helpful. I'm a great fan of going through proving data.
At least we can think of remedy now.
Yeah.
We can get idea. One more remedy in the head, Asuram, or this all issues, vomiting issues, retching issues, neck issues, headaches,
Neck.
and this abdomen,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Interesting, lesser used remedy. But you can think of 2 patients that you could try it with.
Yeah, at least for those 2 patients I can give now.
Mhm. Good, excellent. We have served our purpose.
Hmm.
Okay, do we
Okay.
have any announcements for the upcoming week?
Yes.
What?
What?
Do we have anything
You
special
need
going
to
on
close
this?
recording first. You need to thank everyone and close recording.
Yeah, okay, but are we doing anything else this week other than having
No?
I thought on Monday we were gonna do something with chronic diseases for people that are behind.
Chronic diseases. I think we have one long session on chronic diseases if anyone wants to see. But if anyone likes to repeat the session, we can do it.
Yep, so we can put that, we can put a pin on that, and then we can, we'll go to, what are we doing? Organon on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Organon Thursday, Materia, Medica, Pura Sunday, and maybe there will be a special episode of chronic diseases to catch people up who joined late, or maybe not. We'll see if anybody actually wants to attend. Because we do have to go to some effort to get this done. Right, guys? Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Close recording.